sale or foreclosures, not just the property they're dealing with. They have other credit issues too.
Yes.
How are you getting past that and getting them the loan?
Well, it depends. You know, in a perfect world, you know, we're hoping that they're only defaulting the mortgage and they're not defaulting all the credit. And again, to have this philosophy that in order to negotiate a short sale, you have to default the loan, which makes 0 sense to me or anybody else, but you have to default the loan, so now you're picking up a 30, 60, 90, whatever it is. What we prefer to counsel our clients is maintain your credit card, your vehicles, keep everything current. But that's not going to work for everybody. So if they do experience other credit issues, we've been practicing that for 34 years as well. Not just this. This is 2 years old, 3 years old. I built a company on 30-day lates with Ford or a charge-off or a collection. So if there are other credit issues other than the foreclosure or the short sale, we will run a credit report. It takes 5 minutes. We will either analyze it with you or get your client on the phone in a three-way, and we will analyze the credit together. Now, I'd like to point out something about the credit very quickly. The FICO matrix, okay? The FICO matrix is designed to determine if your client is heading towards bankruptcy. What that translates to is the more recent the negative, the more damaging to the score. So in the old days with underwriting, if you had 6 times 30 with Ford, we had to clear all 630s off in order to get the loan through. Very difficult to do. Understanding that you guys are mainly looking at scores now, correct?
Yeah.
As opposed to information. So we know that the more recent the information, the more damaging. We may only remove, there may be 10 credit negatives, we may only work on 2 or 3 that are necessary to get the best result to increase the score. So we like FICO because we know we can twist and turn the components and get the maximum result out of that, okay? So the answer is, and I know I'm long-winded with all this, okay, because I love this stuff. The answer is we absolutely can. Get them over to us and we will analyze it together. Yes, sir.
How do you know the information is inaccurate?
We analyze. We post everything against the loan docs. We subpoena an original copy of the loan docs, and the first thing we look at are the loan balances.
Well, I'm not surprised that occurs, but
Everything. Every loan's sold and transferred.
If
There's no way it
don't-
can be accurate.
Yeah, if you don't find an inaccuracy, then you don't have a...
It's happened to me twice, and I've closed the case and refunded the fee.
Okay.
And it was 2 small bank, M&I Bank, if you guys know M&I Bank, 2 loans back to back, M&I Bank. Everything was perfect. The loans had never been transferred, and we just simply closed out the case and refunded the fee. That's happened twice out of 500 instances.
So does the trade line stay on the credit report as a close? What's the
Well,
final?
it depends. If it's your primary residence, I think it's better to leave the trade line on and show it paid as agreed. If it's a secondary property or investment property, I would rather remove the entire trade completely and just leave the primary information on there. Right?
Okay.
After a loan mod, can you do something with a second? You know, if there's somebody who still has a second, can you do something about that?
Sure. You mean like negotiate the deficiency and all that, if there's that, or
remove it?
Sure, absolutely.
That's
It's the
possible.
same process,
Okay.
whether it's a first trustee or a second trustee. But I do want to make this very clear. This process strictly applies to the credit information only as it's furnished at their databases. It has nothing to do with liability. I get asked this question all the time. Well, you know, I did a HELOC and I bought a motorhome and a place in Vegas and this, and I gambled all the money away. Am I going to be liable? Okay, I'm not an accountant, I don't know. I tell all our clients, go back to your accountant, it depends on what your tax structure is, and you need to get the answer from them. This process strictly addresses the credit information and as it appears publicly. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted, what was your name?
Eric Phillips, E-R-I-C, Eric Phillips. Any other questions? That was it? Yes, ma'am.
If they defaulted on a VA loan, it doesn't remove it from their entitlement. So are you saying they can come back if this works for them and purchase like use a conventional loan?
They can go conventional. They won't be able to go VA again, but they can go conventional. Yes. Yeah.
Were you part of Georggin and Shan?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So for those of you that, okay, so if you know Ernie Georggin, okay, well, if you guys know Ernie Georggin, he's in there every day in his flip-flops.
Yes.
And his Tommy Bahama shirt, and his cup of coffee, but yes, he's in there every day with us.
Yeah.
Okay,
Good job.
that's what
And
we're
Ernie's a
doing.
great guy, and we're proud to be so. I've been with Ernie for 34 years. He's not only a wonderful associate of mine, he's a very close friend of mine as well. Good man. Yes,
Can
ma'am.
you tell us what banks, you said you work with some banks to kind of collaborate to have the process move?
I have a list. It's a small list. I'm hoping that this gentleman's name we can add to it.
Providence
Okay.
one.
Provident Bank, for those of you that know Provident out of Orange County, we're doing some work now with Wells Fargo. In fact, if you look at this packet, do we all acknowledge that Wells Fargo is pretty tough and pretty conservative?
Yeah.
Okay, very, right? Wells Fargo at this time, there's a settlement document, and I believe it's the last page of this packet. It's a settlement document from Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, if we fax over, once we identify the inaccuracies, we point it out to Wells Fargo, we prepare the action, we submit the action to their legal department, they'll go ahead and settle without even going to court. How great is that for those of you guys that have clients with Wells Fargo? Client doesn't even have to go to court.
So you're settling the lates and the.
Everything.
Yeah, you're not.
Wipes it all out.
So because nobody's ever short, selling short without going late first.
Correct.
Right? So it's the lates up to. I mean, it looks like a clean.
It's zeros all the way across,
Got it.
zero balance, and paid as agreed.
Cool.
Now, I also have hundreds of these judgments as recent as yesterday, okay? So for those of you that are gonna say to me, wow, Eric, it sounds too good to be true, and that's probably the biggest objection that I get, and it does sound too good to be true, okay? There are other attorney firms out there right now that are offering for $5,000 that you can join a class action lawsuit, sue your bank for robo-signing, not having a copy of a signed grant deed in hand, and you're going to get the title back. Is everybody familiar with that? Okay. I live and breathe this stuff. Has anybody in this room ever met one person who's told you that that's happened? No, of course not. Okay. It's not going to happen. I don't know how it could possibly happen. It'll never happen, or there'll be 500 million lawsuits flying back and forth. This we know works. Okay. This is going to get it off the client's credit. This is going to bring it back into the market. Yes, ma'am.